Hello, I'm Tommy Moore, founder of the Bartitsu Lab, and today we're going to be looking at some Atemi Waza. Atemi Waza being the striking elements of Jiu-Jitsu. As you know, Jiu-Jitsu makes up a large part of the Bartitsu curricula, which I teach and which others teach, so it's very important to have your Jiu-Jitsu basics down. Now, especially early Jiu-Jitsu, the use of Atemi Waza is essentially to cause pain, disruption and unbalancing before a throw, a lock, a choke or a strangle. So for example, I could grab you and trip you over, but you don't want to be tripped over. If I grab you, flick you in the eye and trip you over, it might be a bit easier. You know, we're using techniques that cause instant pain or damage. Bear in mind that pain and damage are different things. I can use pain to distract you, I can use damage to hurt you, but either way, I'm unbalancing you. I'm using kazushi, unbalancing, which can be mental or physical. So I'm unbalancing you in order to do a jiu-jitsu technique. Today, we're going to be focusing on some of the techniques of Atemi Waza, which you'll see in traditional jiu-jitsu, and how they can complement your other Bartitsu elements, so your boxing, your savate, or indeed your jiu-jitsu or your catch wrestling. So we're going to start from a position of general striking and then move into our Atemi Waza. So first thing I want you to learn about is Tsuki Dashi, a technique from sumo wrestling, and essentially it's how we get forward pushes and strikes in to move an opponent to a place which is better for us. So the best way to think about Tsuki Dashi is if I'm facing forward, both feet facing forward, a lot of sumo wrestlers put their weight and their strength and their power in the pads of their big toes, so their big toes squishing downwards and they've bent their knees somewhat. If I move my right leg forward, my left hand strikes forward. If I move my left leg forward, my right hand strikes forward. So it's opposite hands to feet. So we've got some motion. And you'll have seen sumo wrestlers move at great speed, you know, smashing through like so. Again, keeping the elbows close to the body. You're seeing wrestlers and jiu-jitsu fighters, they keep their hands like so. It's equally important with jiu-jitsu. So keeping your hands like so. We're going to smash through the opponent. 1, 2, 3. And you can cause some serious damage with this. We can off-balance people. We get them into a position where we can now grab, do our Atemi Waza, and finish a throw. So just to show you a bit of Tsuki Dashi. Again, I'm not doing that full force, but you can see you can generate serious power. Keeping the elbows in, driving from the elbow, using the hard bit, so the hard base of the palm and the edge of the palm to strike forward, at the face, smashing these in, to the body and to the shoulders to turn people. So we're using our Tsuki Dashi to make up distance. We're going to close to end up in a good fighting measure for our Atemi Waza. Now, Atemi Waza is typically aimed at kyusho, or vulnerable points. I don't really buy into the huge amount of pressure points on the human body, but I do believe in the ones that you obviously know yourselves. So in the front of the throat, along the artery, behind the ear, in the eye, under the philtrum, there are places that you know hurt really bad. To get this meridian or that meridian or this piece of architecture over here, this is too hard to pull off and too complex. So go for obvious, painful places. And our Atemi Waza techniques allow us to strike more accurately into those vulnerable places. Places that, say, a traditional fist cannot fit, or where, because we're so close, I don't have the power to generate any normal punching strike, so I need to do something short, sharp and dangerous. And short, sharp and dangerous is probably the best way to describe Atemi Waza. So the first technique of Atemi Waza we're going to talk about is the Knuckle, so tiger's mouth. And I've seen this done both ways, using this bit between the fingers and the thumb into the throat. So again, into the side of the throat or in the front of the throat, like so. I've also seen it done between this gap of the thumb here and these fingers, like so, sharply in, or just using the edge of that thumb knuckle, bang. But again, if you imagine from a Tsuki Dashi, smash, 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 nice and broad, nice and percussive, then I can follow through with a Knuckle, boom, boom, or like so. Again, experiment with this. It's a great way to get from a strike into a grab, and that grab could be on the lapel, could be on the human, could be anywhere. But Knuckle, tiger's mouth, really useful as a piece of percussion moving into grappling. Also aimed at the eye if you wish as well. So where this grabs it into the throat, in the center of the webbing, when used with the thumb, we can get the eye and then grab the face. So again, don't just think here, I can go eye, grab the face, turn and cause more damage. Nice and nasty. Then you've got Naka Yubi Ipponken, Nakayubi Ippon Ken. Ippon Ken is using the first finger here, the forefinger in this knuckle here. The Nakayubi version is with the middle finger, like so. And again, this is best deployed once I've grabbed someone. So if I've got your lapel, driving this behind the ear, along the neck, and into the eye, causes quite a lot of pain. I've made myself a sharp object where a fist wouldn't do. I can't grind a fist in. If your opponent's head's here, I can grind this strong, hard, large middle knuckle into opponent. So I like this from a lapel grab, into the eye, into the throat, or grab the back of the head, into the eye, into the throat. So Nakayubi Ippon Ken, a nice, simple Atemi Waza technique, which can cause quite a lot of pain and is relatively solid. Ippon Ken can be a bit weak for me. Nakayubi can be quite strong. So again, I might grab you, drive this into your eye, and then do a reaping throw. Again, I've caused Atemi Waza. I've hit you somewhere painful, a Kyusho point, and I've got Kazushi, because you're unbalanced, your eye hurts, so I can throw you or choke you or trip you or do something else. Then we're going to move on to the Ryuto Ken. Ryuto Ken is using this. You might see this in Chinese martial arts as a leopard paw. In Japanese, this is dragon's head. So again, we've folded our knuckles over. We've got these 4 knuckles. And again, I can drive these into the throat, into the eyes. This one, because it's 4 knuckles, it's quite good into the ribs or the solar plexus as well. But again, it's one of those techniques which is much better from a grab. You've got a bit more range. With the Nakayubi, the head's here, I'm driving this in. The eye's here, driving this in. With this one, I've got a bit more range. It's somewhere between true Atemi Waza and full-on striking techniques. I can use this and drive in. So this is a great pre-grapple technique. And bear in mind, I can use this facing forward, like so, into the throat, into the eyes. I can do it in a hook style fashion, so I can parry and drive this along this side of the neck or into the arm. I don't really like this into the arm, but definitely doable. So you can drive this Ryuto Ken into the arm. So if you're in a grab and we're both grabbing each other's clothes, I might dig this into the elbow, then go into a shuto, or dig this into the elbow, then go into a chopper using pugilism. So again, here and here, Ryuto Ken, chopper. And I'm using this dragon's head technique, and I can use this at relative mid-range percussively or quite close range as a grinding painful technique. But it's very, very good against the inside of limbs, against painful points, your kyusho, against your throat, and against your eyes. Then we move to 2 thumb-based techniques, and I quite like these. So you've got Boshi Ken. Now Boshi Ken is putting your thumb on top of your fist and using the tip of that thumb. And again, tip, not pad. Use the pad, no damage is caused. That's the pad. You want to use the tip, the hard bit. And again, this is very close range. This is, I've got your head here. I'm going to drive this behind your ear to distract you as I get in a hip throw, as I get in a leg reap, something to that effect. So again, Boshi Ken. This is very close range, grinding technique. I don't see this very much for striking. I see this for grinding. So some Atemi Waza for striking. Ryoto, brilliant. Yeah, Ippon Ken, somewhat good for the eyes, somewhat good for striking. And Boshi Ken is a better grinding technique, digging this into the throat. So windpipe, either the arteries, behind the ear, or into the eye. Boshi Ken, Boshi Ken. And again, if you're thinking with your Bartitsu hat on, I might go Boshi Ken into Tetsui, into left hook. I might go Boshi Ken, Muset, then I might do a double leg takedown from catch wrestling, whatever you want to do. But the Boshi Ken is very good at kind of grinding your way in there. Your hands are already want to be somewhat in that space and grind in. So if we go from our Tsuki Dashi, bash, 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 we've got onto a grab, drive that Boshi Ken into the eye before we go for a major leg reap. And then finally we've got Koppo Ken. And Koppo Ken is using the sharp bit of the outside of the thumb. So a bit like the Boshi Ken uses the tip, tip, not pad, tip, not pad. The Koppo Ken uses this sharp bit here. Imagine yourself like that dinosaur, I think it's the iguanodon. It's got 2 sharp spikes here, so do you. So you use these here, and again, these are percussive and grinding techniques. So Boshi Ken is really a grind. Koppo Ken, I can strike with this. So again, if I've got your head down, I can use this thumb into the eye socket or into the neck. And if I'm straight up and I want to use it as a grinder, again, I can run this into the throat. You know, for example, if I'm doing a cross collar grip, as opposed to just wrapping my thumb underneath, I might dig that Koppo Ken in just to cause a flinch reaction to open up that artery for the strangle. So again, it's just opening up windows of opportunities. They're almost like your tin openers. They open up the guard, causing damage. So koppelken, you can use it percussively, slamming it into people, or in a grind, into the nasty bits, into the throat, behind the ear, into the eye. So just to reiterate, we have got Tsuki Dashi to smash through and get space. Now we're in a position where the opponent has kazushi, they're off balance. Then we're going to use Atemi Waza. So we're going to use our Knuckle, tiger's mouth, smash into the throat. We're going to use our Nakayubi Ipponken, our middle finger, into the eyes, into the throat, behind the ear. We've got our Ryoto-ken, using this 4-fist here, again, into the ribs, into the throat, solar plexus and eyes. And then we've got our Boshi-ken and our Koppel-ken. Hopefully you find that useful. Again, once you've got the gist of that, you need to practice how to use those things and move into Jiu-Jitsu locks and throws. So I'll hit you with the Koppel-ken, and then I'll do Ippon-senage, do a Japanese style throw. I might do a Boshi-ken into a double leg takedown from catch wrestling, or a cross buttock throw from pugilism. I might do a Ryoto-ken and then follow that up with a left cross or a headbutt. So again, get used to using it to work with Jiu-Jitsu arts, and then get used to blending it with other Western martial arts, and that's what makes our Jiu-Jitsu integrated with our Bartitsu. So again, hopefully you found that session on Atemi Waza useful. Give it a play, get used to it, practice on each other, make sure you find out what you can hit time and time again. So don't go for places of the body that are too esoteric, too niche. Go for places that work consistently and cause pain and cause kazushi, disruption and balancing. If I'm confused, blinded, hurt, knocked about a bit, it's much easier for me to throw you. So again, that's where kazushi and Atemi Waza are perfect components of your Bartitsu syllabus. I've been Tommy Moore. Thank you very much.